For those of you who don't know me, I am Becky, otherwise known as Sopranoknits in other places like Ravelry and Instagram. And I live in Chicago currently with my 2 cats who will hopefully co-host with me sometimes. They are both sleeping in the living room right now. It's kind of nap time. And the date, because some people like that, looking at you, Amy and Debbie. The date is April 8th. It's a Friday. And yeah, it's been kind of dreary today. It was raining this morning and then it actually started to snow, which isn't cute. It is April. So yeah, a podcast. I'm kind of scared because I don't know about you guys, but when I start watching a new podcast, if they're already several episodes down the road, whether it's episode 10 or something, what I normally do is watch the first episode because you get some of the introductory stuff out of the way and you get a sense for the person, and then I continue kind of where they are currently. Maybe no one else does that, but since that's what I do, I feel the pressure for this first one. But it'll be fun. It'll be fine. So I decided to call this the Stringing It Together podcast because that's sort of just how I feel about my life at the moment, that I'm just stringing it together. I said that to a friend the other day and I was like, hey, that could be a fun, punny title. So here we are. So I am an opera singer, which is why my name is Sopranoknits, other places. And yeah, I do a lot of teaching currently in Chicago, but I also do some performing. And I'm going to be moving to Germany in the fall, which is a big move. So that was part of the reason I thought that maybe I would try podcasting, because it would be nice to have some sort of ritual as I go through this insane process and move over there, and I'm going to be alone and scared and that kind of thing. But in the meantime, you might have to bear with me a little bit. We'll see how often I can do this, and also I'm going to be changing locations a lot. I'm traveling a lot the next few weeks with an opera outreach company that I tour with locally, somewhat locally in the upper Midwest. And then this summer I'm going to be in Western Massachusetts for a couple months. Hopefully get to meet some of my friends out there. You know who you are. So this might be sort of a traveling podcast as I try to string together my life and my knitting. See what I did there? It's kind of a pun. It's funny. Okay. So I thought first of all, I would just kind of explain or talk about some of the podcasts that I watch, maybe. But also, well, first of all, okay, this community is awesome. We all know that. And I didn't really know it existed on the internet until a few months ago. I've been knitting for 5 years, but I didn't really get serious about knitting until the past kind of 6 months to a year period. And I started finding more knitters on Instagram and looking jealously at all of these projects that people were knitting and how quick they could knit and things like that. And somehow I stumbled across Sue. Well, I think I was following someone who was doing Periscope. I watched a couple Periscopes when that first came out onto the scene, and then followed a few knitters there. And then someone shared Sue, who's Knit24, on Periscope and on Instagram. And she's also in the Legacy Knits podcast with Chelsea. But I started watching her Periscopes and I just loved her. And any of you who have watched her Periscopes or her podcast know what I mean. So Sue was kind of just my induction into the whole community. So I've done a couple of Periscopes here and there, but I've met a lot of people through that. And then once she started podcasting, I sort of was opened up to the world of knitting podcasts, and I just think it's awesome. I've met a lot of really cool people. The Get Lit and Knit podcast is another one. I've met Allie and Abby, and we had some margaritas and knit together, which was super awesome because they're in Chicago as well. I met Devin just this past weekend at YarnCon. And yeah, it's just an awesome community. So when I was in Europe and that was a daunting thing, I was there in January doing an audition tour, and this community was super supportive and kind, and it was great. So that was sort of part of the reason that I thought I wanted to do this. So other podcasts that I watch, and I'm just going to go through, because it's the first episode, the ones that I religiously watch every week. First of all, Legacy Knits, you guys know. I love you, and we're going to meet this summer, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Periscoping Sisters as well. These are my other, people that also helped me get into the community. And I'm pretty sure I was on Amy's very first Periscope. I remember that. I think, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were periscoping from under your dining room table or something. It was so cute, and I fell in love with her as well. So Periscoping Sisters, I'm sure you're all aware. Kristen of Yarngasm and Volenvine Yarns, amazing. KT of Inside Number 23, I love her. Gitlet and Ned, I already mentioned, they're amazing. Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls, which I know because Chelsea, I think, first turned me on to them. Jacqueline of Brooklyn Knit Folk, Eric of Sticks and Twine, and Laura of the Fawn Knits. That's a lot, but those are the ones that I watch every week. And then there are some that I watch sometimes because there are only so many hours in the day to watch podcasts, but I try to fit them all in. Okay, so let's go on to some knitting stuff. What do people do first? Finish objects? I don't have any for this week, but since it's my first episode, I can cheat and just show you stuff I finished recently. Haha. So the first thing that I finished pretty recently, this is a couple weeks ago, this is Inside Out, was my Stephen West Batad. I hope you can see that. So this is awesome. It's a thingy. It's not a shawl. It's not a sweater. It's a thingy. So it's knit in the round, and then with a bunch of short rows. A lot of his patterns use veal short row and yarn over thing. And then you create these welts, which were pretty laborious, but they look beautiful. I just really don't like picking up stitches, so it wasn't my favorite. So hopefully you can kind of see when I have it on. It's a little drapey thing. After I knit it, or after I cast it on, I realized that some people had made this smaller because Stephen West is a giant knitting man, and most of us are not. But luckily, it fits still. It fits onto my shoulders. I'm okay if it's slouching off my shoulder, whatever. This is that. I love it. This was my first time knitting with hedgehog fibers. This is the Oracle colorway. Let's get up close and personal with that because it's really pretty. And then this is Plymouth Yarns Happy Feet sock something. I just wanted a neutral color to kind of break it up with. Cool, so that's one thing. Another thing I finished recently, this I cast on my birthday, which was a couple weeks ago in March. And so I'm doing this opera tour. We're touring around the upper Midwest. We were in Minneapolis, and I told all of my castmates that I'm sorry, but I have to go to Stephen B. So I'm going to find you somewhere to eat lunch there, and I'm going to skip lunch and go to this yarn store and spend all of my money. So I did. And then I made this. So this is a pattern. I didn't write this down, but if I can figure out editing and putting things on screens, I will. It's by Michelle. I don't know her last name off the top of my head, but she is the dyer behind Republic of Wool. And actually both of these yarns are Republic of Wool yarns. So the green one, get a little bit closer. The green one is Swamp Thing, and the sort of variegated white one with blues and greens and purples in it is called Plume, and they're both on her Superwash Merino DK base. And I love it. I knit it in a week, which for me is crazy warp speed. It was a great knit. Great knit, great pattern, easy peasy, super easy to memorize. So you're just like, and then you're done. So these look horrible together, so I'm going to take that off. But this was great. Here's the wrong side. Here's the right side. Super beautiful. Okay, and then the other things I finished recently, are, I designed my first pattern. It's not out yet, it's being test knit, but it's called the Red Herring Hat. And I made 2 of them. So this is the first one that I knit up that actually worked. Designing is hard, guys. I had a hard time. And this is in Malabrigo Rios in the lettuce colorway. So it's a worsted weight hat. And then this is the second one I knit up because I wanted one that was actually red for the red herring. And this is, I brought the tag over because I knew I'd forget. This is the Dream in Color Classy base. And the colorway is Fierce Scarlet. So I really like this yarn. It's very soft. I liked working with it. The pattern works a little bit better in something solid, but you can still see it. You can still see the pattern. So that's that. Yeah, that's it for recent FOs. Going on to whips. Whip it. Okay, so my first whip, this is my longest whip. I started this for Sue Knit 24's Periscope knit along, which was the Hohi long, which were just any pattern by Hohi Locatelli, because she has gorgeous patterns. She's the one that did the 3-color cashmere cowl, and then more recently the shawl. So I decided that I wanted to knit my first sweater, because I've still never knit a sweater. I'm going to take this off. So I decided on her, hang on, I have the pattern. I decided on her Madewell cardigan. This thing has been kind of smushed in my bag for a while, but there's the Madewell cardigan. So it's kind of a basic cardigan. I wanted something that I could wear with lots of things, so a cardigan seemed more versatile than a pullover sweater. But what I liked about this is it's pretty simple, but it has these, it's hard to see, but these knitted elbow patches. And you can just do those with whatever fun colors you have, so I'm going to have fun with those. But the thing is that it's fingering weight, which I should not have done for my first sweater, because it's just taking forever. Stockinette worked flat, so there's a lot of purling, which I don't totally mind, but you know, it can get kind of laborious. So here it is so far. Also, I don't really wear a lot of brown. I have no idea why I picked brown. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And I think if I loved the color, I loved the yarn, I'd be knitting this thing like crazy. Here it is so far. Oh my gosh, I have so much cat hair on my shirt. It's okay. Okay. That's my sweater so far. Sorry, it's like caught around me. So, hey, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I have probably, sorry, this is getting washed out, probably another inch or 2, and then I have like 3 inches of a border. Or maybe I don't want it that long. Maybe I should stop soon. We'll see. So the yarn is yarn that I picked up in Germany because I wanted to do that. I wanted to knit like a Germany sweater. So this is Drachenwolle, which is dragon wool. Pretty cool. Here is the tag. It's got a dragon on it. Watch out! So there it is. The base is called Ein und Alles, which is one and all, in Choco Brown, which is like chocolate brown. Sounds kind of similar to English. Oh yeah, and her website, if you guys, is just kind of covered up by the label, but it's drachenwolle.com. I found a lot of her yarns in Berlin. And then it's 75% wool, 25% nylon. So I wanted something pretty durable for a cardigan that'll probably get a lot of wear. And also I knew that it would help it or hold its shape better, because if I knit my first sweater and it didn't fit me after I blocked it, I'd probably cry. So that's that. There it is caked. It's a nice brown, like it's a warm chocolatey thing. But I did recently get myself in, well, 2 awesome project bags, but it is living in my unicorn bag. This is from Laura of the Fun Knits, and it's amazing. If you follow her at all, you've seen this fabric, and I had to have it. I stalked her shop updates for weeks, and I kept getting cart jacked, but this was a birthday miracle. I bought this for myself on my birthday. It's so amazing. I love that unicorn. I do have a little bit of a greyhound, like half a greyhound, but it's so lovely. It's so well made. I don't have very many project bags. I just don't. I just don't. But look at the inside. There's her tag. Laura, take all my money, man, because this is amazing. So at least it's living in a beautiful place, and it makes me want to knit it more because I just want to like look at this while I'm knitting it. So there's that. So Madewell sweater, Hohi Locatelli, done. My other two whips, this is kind of a weird time to be introducing you to me and my knitting because I'm knitting things that I don't normally knit, like a sweater. And then my other two whips are socks. I've only completed 2 pairs of socks ever. One was for my boyfriend and one was for me. So it's kind of surprising that I'm knitting socks right now. But yeah. Get out of here. Okay, so this pair of socks is living in this bag. It's from Seltzer Goods. It says Cat Lady on it. It's great. It's not very big, as you can see, but it's a totally good size for a pair of socks. And I'm finding that it's good because I'm knitting these on DPNs and I don't have one of those cute cozies yet. So it's like the exact correct width so that things don't go crazy. So here's my sock. It's a mess. Okay. It's just a vanilla sock, but it's my first Arnie and Carlos, which is cool. And I got that tag too. So Arnie and Carlos on Regia. And the color is, it's like the tin colorway, TINN, I think is what it says, or 02462. And I like it. I kind of got stressed after I bought it because I just wanted to knit with Arnie and Carlos and grabbed it. They weren't really my colors, but I think I'm digging it. And then I'm doing the cuffs, heels, and toes in Patton's Croy in the flax colorway. Originally I thought I was going to do cream, but then when I held it up next to it, I was like, it's too much. So I like this a lot. So that's one, and I'm knitting them on carbons, US 1.5s. I can't read the millimeters because they rubbed off. 2.5 millimeters. I'm moving into Europe. I need to get good at that. And my little stitch marker from the lovely Ann Tudor, who I'm obsessed with. She makes amazing glass work, but she's really into making stitch markers now. So there's my ladybug, which was a incredibly thoughtful gift from one of my knitting friends. You know who you are. I don't know if I should call you out about that, but it was probably the sweetest gift I've ever gotten, and I cried. More from Anne. There's my sheepy. I have, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to give you that finger. There's my sheepy. I have Progress Keeper on here. Love it. Okay, so there's this. I haven't knit on DPNs since I started knitting like 5 years ago. And I thought I would hate it, but I'm actually kind of digging it. Although these are too long. I bought too long of needles. It happens. Okay, my other whip is living in my other Fawn and the Fox bag. Succulents. I love it. Oh my gosh. This one also took me weeks to get. I wanted a succulents bag. It's her mini size. And this one is her medium size. Just so you get an idea of what they look like. This actually has the same lining as the other bag, funnily enough, but I don't mind. So these are not very far along. These are my Fine and Dandy socks for the knit along hosted by Brooklyn Knit Folk and Yarn Junkie. So Jacqueline and Amber, and this is a very inexpensive pattern from the Sweater Co. It's 70-some cents for us Americans. So I just started it. I'm not very far. It's my very first toe-up sock, but only my 4th pair of socks, so it's not like that's that big of a deal. And yeah, there it is. This flower thing is really cool, but I had a little learning curve with it. I had to rip it out a couple of times. The best thing for me, I think some podcaster said this, but I don't remember who it was to use a crochet hook for the flowers. and that's like the only way I can do it. So I'm just using like my little stitch fixer, and it's working fine. Takes kind of longer, but it's fine. And this green is kind of everything. This is actually the same thing for my batad. This is the tag for that. The Plymouth Happy Feet. And then the green color is Why Not Fibers. It's their BFL Soul base in the Shire colorway. And it's just 100% superwash BFL, which I've never knit with. So, and I really like it. You know, it seems kind of not scratchy. That's not the word. I don't know. It wasn't the softest to me in the skein or even in the cake, but I love how it's knitting up. It's softer, and this looked totally solid to me, but now that it's knitting up, I'm seeing, you can see it probably better on the stockinette side. There's a little bit of variation in there, and it's just so gorgeous. I love the green. It's great. So these are, I'm having fun with them. Slowly going along. Okay, so I feel like this is already so long. I have no idea how long it is, but I'm just going to keep trucking real fast. Oh, wait, I have tea. I'm going to take a sip of tea. I'm a real podcaster because I'm drinking tea on a podcast. Yeah. This is in my awesome little infuser mug. It's got, Chelsea, you need one of these. I was just watching your podcast. It's got this little basket in there, and then it also has a lid so that you can steep it covered. And this is Marrakesh Mint Green and Herbal Tea Blend. This is from the Spice and Tea Merchants, which I think is a chain. I don't know. This was a birthday present. It's really good. I like it. Okay. Acquisitions. I don't have that many. I just don't. I did go to YarnCon this weekend, which was fun. It was a smaller fiber festival in Chicago, but not tiny by any means. So I took a class and then I did a little bit of shopping. But I have an acquisition from the class. So the little bit of shopping I did, and I wasn't able to do much, which was kind of sad, but also a good thing that I wasn't able to spend that much money. It was my own fault. I got there so much later than I intended, and I had to do a speed round where I walked around super fast for 45 minutes. It was just like, looking at everything. But I fell in love with this one vendor and their yarns. And this is Leading Men Fiber Arts, who I had never heard of, but all of their yarns were good gorgeous. So this is the one that I have right now. Look at this. Look at this. You don't need to see my face. You need to see this. It's showing up a little bit. It's showing up better, truer, if I hold it right here. If I bring it closer, it starts to wash up. But this is beautiful. It's like this, this awesome like chestnutty brown. The colorway is Black Walnut. It's in their box office base, which is, I mean, you can read it. It's worsted. I was thinking about knitting another one of my hat designs out of this, but I don't really think it would be that good of a color on my head because it's too close to my hair. But it actually looks kind of cool like that. No, we'll leave that there. No, I'm just kidding. And I actually ordered 3 more skeins of their yarn for a specific project. I was trying to be specific in my shopping. They didn't have it on their sport weight base, but they were accepting special orders, and they're going to ship it to me for free, but it might take up to 3 weeks, which is sad, but that's okay. I'll show it when it comes if I'm still doing these. But I love this. I don't know what to make out of it, so tell me. I should have brought it. I have a skein of Neon Peach, the Madelinetosh, and it looked gorgeous with this. I don't know what to do with those, but it's an idea. And then my other thing, this is kind of messy looking skein, but whatever. This is what I dyed. So I took a yarn dyeing class, and this was acid dye. So there was also a Kool-Aid one, but I kind of thought I could probably do that at home pretty easily. So I wanted to take acid. And it was a short class, so we didn't have very much time for it to sit in there. But I used some red, some yellow, and some orange, and this is it. And it's really soft. The base is wool to dye for. It's worsted, 100% merino. and not superwash yet. But that's what that looks like. I don't know. I don't know if I want to re-dye it or not. There were some spots that have like this really cool darker color, and there's some spots too that had like flecks of red in it. Can't find any, but it's pretty. I don't know what to do with it. Again, I don't know. So, oh, and then this I've had for a little bit, but it's fairly new. This is a verb for keeping warm, which I've heard of, but I've never tried it. This is their Pioneer base, naturally dyed fiber and yarn. Colorway is horse's mane. It's DK weight, 100% organic burrito, 50 grams. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this was a gift from Trixie, who was my swap partner for the knitting expat Mina's swap. You might be able to hear the people walking around upstairs, apartment living. So this was from Trixie. This is my skein for that, and it's what I wanted. Something neutral, because I have a lot of colors, crazy colors going on in my stash right now, and I need to kind of tone them down. So that's that. Yeah. And I thought, I mean, I don't know if I'll have any additional cool segments in this podcast should I continue. I thought about doing something sort of riffing off of what Jenny Lone Larch does, which, because she's an arborist, she talks about trees. So I thought maybe I could, I don't know, talk about an art song or an opera, or like, hey, go listen to this song or something and knit to it. I don't know if that would be interesting, but maybe. And also, Amy and Debbie on Periscoping Sisters have skeins in the closet, and since I do not acquire things every week, I was thinking of doing skeins of my dreams, and just talking about the yarn that I want to buy, but I'm trying to hold back from. And this week I would have to say that it is Woolen Vine Yarns, which every week I have to physically restrain myself from buying that. And also Molly of a Homespun House. All of her stuff is gorgeous, but that I'm definitely going to get some, but I'm just thinking I should wait till I move to Germany, because then I won't have to wait so long from ordering to shipping, because I'll be in the same country. So that's my idea. I think that's it. I don't really have that much else to talk about. Life is crazy, as usual. I spent the whole day cleaning my house, which feels so good. But I have this bad habit of doing that right before I leave for an extended period of time, so then I don't really get to enjoy how clean it is. Oh wow. It's gonna be clean for my roommate, who is sweet enough to take care of my cats and keep them alive, which is very important. Anyway, I think that is it. So thank you so much if you watched this, and I don't know, send me a message or something if you did. Just say hey. And that's it. So maybe I'll see you guys later. Keep on knitting. See you soon.